Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am here with not my usual card class to go. This week, I am actually going to be sharing with you the Christmas Everywhere kit. This is available online. It's one of our full kit collections. You can see the cards that will be created online as well. It's a little bit different than our paper pumpkin. And this one comes with a sweet little stamp set and everything. It's $29 Canadian plus shipping and taxes. And the reason I'm sharing a kit with you this week instead of my usual card class to go is because I currently have my Mini Catalog Party Launch special still going on, which means that for a $60 purchase, you actually get a 9-card tutorial for the cards that were shown at our Mini Catalog party. So I'm doing that this week instead of a card kit. We're kind of in the thick of things at work, and things are really busy with the kids and getting all of our routines up and running. And I just have not had any time in my craft room. So that's okay. I have a few kits to share with you over the next few weeks if I don't get time to do my own creating. And this one today is just awesome, actually. This was our new one for the month of September, and I absolutely love it. So I have already opened it up. I haven't actually crafted with it, but I had some friends over and they wanted to see what was in it. So I don't have my little plastic covering on all of our goodies. So there's our instructions. As always, they're on the bottom. And then I'll just show you guys. Oh, here, let me just switch over to full screen of my desk. That way you have a better view. So here is everything that comes in the kit. So we have a sweet little stamp set here with some trees and 3 little sentiments. It just says merry, happy, and Christmas, and then warm and wishes. So 5 little individual words that you can combine however you'd like, and a tiny little snowflake. And so super cute stamp set. And of course, because it's a kit, you do get your block in there as well. So if you don't have blocks at home, these kits are great. They literally come with everything you need but a pair of scissors. So the ink that comes in this one is our Lost Lagoon. So I'm actually just going to grab my large stamp pad of that one off of my shelf and use that instead. We get a giant pack of dimensionals here. This is even bigger than a normal sheet of dimensionals, which is awesome. And then we get a whole bunch of gorgeous envelopes. I always love these envelopes and have a hard time actually using them. I like to cut them up to use the inside as like designer series paper, but they are really fun and pretty. All right, we're going to set those to the side. We get some punch outs here. So these are a bunch of different Christmas trees, and they have like red glitter on them. I don't know if I can get that shine to show for you, but they are quite, oh, there we go. They're quite shiny in person. So we get 3 sheets of those. And then our card bases. So we have a Granny Apple Green card base, a Pretty Peacock card base, and I'm actually not sure which red this is. Let's see. So it's really nice. It always tells us in the instructions. So this one's actually real red. So real red card base. So those 3 beautiful bases. And if you've ever watched my kit or paper pumpkin videos, you know I am not going to use these as they come. I just think it's such a waste to put that pretty pattern on the back of a card. Just can't do it, sorry. And then we have some pieces here that are like, I guess like the main focal point on the card. The 3 cards have a very similar layout, but with different color schemes. So we have a whole bunch of those. Yeah, they're all the same, it looks like. All right. And then we have some alternative trees that also have a lot of shine to them. So we have some cactuses and some palm trees for those of you who would like something just a little bit different. And finally, we have our labels here. These just punch out just like that. And then we've got our labels for doing our stamping. So that, and then we're back down to the cardboard. So that is the end of our supplies. So we have a lot to work with here, and we're just going to dive right in. So if you've never done a kit before, they do come with full instructions, colored instructions to boot. And so it always shows you where to do your stamping, which adhesive to use. So here, well, we only have one adhesive in this kit. So of course it's dimensionals, but where even to place the dimensionals so you get the best use of them. And yeah, so it just walks you through how to build these cards. And so let's get started. I am actually going to start with my Pretty Peacock one. So I've got my Pretty Peacock base here, but I am actually not going to use this in this manner. I am actually going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to cut it down so that I have a 4 by 5 1/4 layer, and I have a whole other piece to use on another project. So I have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece now, and I am going to grab a card base. So I'm going to actually test this out with two different. We're going to see what it might look like with a white background. And I've also got a piece here of Pretty Peacock, and we're going to check out what that might look like. Okay, and so we can see that or that, and I think I'm actually going to go for the Pretty Peacock background on this one, which means I will grab a piece of basic white to glue to the inside of this card, because you can't really write on the Pretty Peacock very well. It's a little too dark. So my first job is going to be to adhere both of those layers to my Pretty Peacock card base. So that's just one way that you can kind of double your money on these kits, because I now have a whole extra patterned Pretty Peacock piece to use to create a whole other card. All right. So we've got that. And I'm going to glue this one in. There we go. And like that. All right, so now that we have our newly created base, we can get started with following the instructions that they've got here in our kit. So the first thing that they are suggesting we do is that we grab one of those little bases. Now, I just realized there actually are two bases. Oh, maybe there aren't. I thought there were. That's weird. Okay, maybe they're all identical. Star, tree, star. Yeah, okay, they're all identical. So don't worry about that. So you're going to see that this fits just a little bit differently now that we've done that trimming down, but it still has a nice border. So we won't actually have to trim these bases at all. And then they are recommending that we take one of these little trees. Looks like the littlest tree. And we're going to throw that onto a block. So I'm not going to use my paper pumpkin block because I have other blocks here. But I am going to use the Lost Lagoon ink like they suggest. And they are suggesting, sorry guys. Okay, I'm just going to stamp this a few times so I get a more clear image. Sometimes these new stamps just have a little bit of a film on them. There we go. And then I go in and got my block all inky. So I'm just going to give it a quick clean. So that's actually the other thing that does not come in your kit is something to clean your stamps with. Of course, you can just stamp them off or run them under water to clean them. But if you wanted to, you could also grab a chamois, simply chamois, and then that will solve your block cleaning problems. All right, with that all done, we're going to stamp this little guy just below the other tree. There we go. And this little guy about the same height. All right, and then we're going to grab our little snowflake. And now if you're using a paper pumpkin block, I recommend that you mount this guy right up in a top corner. That way you can just dab a corner and stamp. And well, here, I'll do it. I won't bother putting them onto a small block now that I've got them on this one. And that way you don't get ink everywhere. If you do have a smaller block and want to, that also works. But anytime you don't put it in the middle. It's going to be hard to ink it up. All right. So we have just a little bit more stamping to do. We need to grab ourselves one of our little labels. So they're recommending the Granny Apple Green for this. And to stamp Happy Christmas. Now, these words are not together on the block, but my suggestion to you is that you actually take your happy. I'm going to put the P centered on that center line. And then I'm going to take my Christmas. Actually, I'm going to stand up so that I can get this straight. So I'm using the dotted line to line up that happy. And then I'm going to take my Christmas and I'm going to push it up as far as it can go. I'm going to make sure it's straight. So now how I like how the two of them are together. I'm going to take my block and I'm going to pick them up together. Now I don't need to worry about how I stamp them. I know that they're going to stamp nicely. Okay, and then I can just center that and stamp it, and there we go. We have our Happy Christmas. So just a little trick when you're putting words together and you don't mind that they're going to be the same color, then that's how we can do that. All right, so now I'm not going to start into my dimensionals that I got in my kit just because I have a sheet already started and I'd like to use them up. So we're going to attach this piece to our card front using dimensionals. And the instructions just show we're going to put one in each corner. And now they say to put one in the center. I'm personally a fan of something like this, using two when it's a rectangle like this. All right, so we're going to peel those off. There we go. And we're going to pop this on. Just like that. And now we're going to go find our trees. So we've got these beautiful sheets and they are recommending that gorgeous tree and these two beautiful trees. Just with that little hint of Granny Apple Green in there. All right, so, and then they are recommending 2 dimensionals on the back of that big tree and just 1 on each of these, but I'm actually going to not do that. I'm going to put 2 on them. As you can see, I'm not great at following, not great at following the instructions. I really like cards that stay together well and don't get flimsy, so I'm going to just change that a bit. All right, so this beauty goes right in the very middle of our card, just like that. And then these guys go off to the side, and we're going to try and kind of line them up in terms of height with the bottom of this one. There we go. And come on, don't stick to me. There we go. And right there. So you can see all the trees kind of nicely, just subtly overlap each other. And then we can add our Happy Christmas down here. So we're going to put 2 dimensionals on here, but we're going to put them a little bit lower. The other thing you could do, this is my preferred way to do it, is I'm going to pop them on here where I know they'll be covered. That way they can be as centered as possible, but they won't catch that lip. And then I can put my Happy Christmas here. And just like that. All right. And so that is our first card from our card kit, done with just that slight modification so that we can get more of the fun bases out of our cards. So I don't think I'm actually going to show you guys all the rest of them exactly how they've shown them. I think I'm going to start doing some modifications because when you look at this, you're going to see it's just the same thing with a slight modification. Like, so stamp the stars, but use a different tree. Attach 3 trees in a different sentiment. Like, it's a very repetitive kit. They use the same format with different images for all 3 cards. So I actually want to show you guys just a little variation and something we can do. So for all of my cards, I would do this little thing where I cut my cards so that I end up with a different background. And so that's what I'm going to do for all of them. But for this next one, I'm going to do an alternative for you guys. So here we go, 4, 5 1/4. So I got a 4 by 5 1/4 from my red, and of course that's my extra, my leftover piece from if I've created a card. This time I am going to put it onto a basic white background, not onto a real red background. And so on my basic red, I'm actually just going to glue that straight down. Oh, come on. There we go. So we're going to glue that straight down. And so now at this point, we're basically using like bonus pieces. So there we go. And then you actually have enough materials in your kit to make all of your cards using these fancy trees that they provided. But we have no trees created using the extra pieces that they gave us. So these beauties with the palm trees and the cactus. All right. So I am actually going to do a little creating here. And in our kit, actually, let me just double check. I think we have, yeah, we even have 1 extra of each of these fancy labels because we have enough stuff in our kits to make 3 of each design that they've provided. So we actually have extra things in here to create extra cards. I'm going to take one of our extra Granny Apple green labels, and I'm going to use that to stamp on it. And what I'm going to stamp is actually warm wishes, because if we're going to be using palm trees or cactus, that's definitely like a warm environment kind of thing. So I'm going to do warm wishes, and I'm going to mount those words exactly how I showed you with the Happy Christmas. I think it was Happy Christmas that I did. So I'm going to take my warm and my wishes. Oops, haha. You know what? You should be able to read them when you do this, because otherwise they're backwards and you're going to end up with just blobs in the shape of the letters. There we go. So warm wishes, and then we're going to put that, try that again. You have to put your block down straight so that it lifts up your words. So there we go, warm wishes. There, picked it up. And then we're going to keep using our Lost Lagoon, just like we did before. Stamp our warm wishes right on there. So now we have our sentiment. I'm going to do this one slightly differently, though. I'm not going to center it the way they did. I'm going to put that kind of off to the side. And then this is where we will need an extra piece of cardstock because we don't have any any more background pieces. They give us just the 9 that we need. So I'm going to grab a piece of basic white, and you can use anything you want to cut this out, but I think let's actually see how this is going to work in terms of size. Oh, that'll be beautiful. I am actually going to use my Nested Essentials dies, and I'm using the largest of the hexagons, and I am going to die cut that so that I have a nice background to put my palm trees and cactus onto. So I'm just going to pop over to my big machine to die cut that. There we go. So I've got that. I am going to pop this on here. Oh, you know what? I might end up using my Warm Wishes centered like I did before. So if you don't have this die, you can, of course, go ahead and use a rectangle that you cut with your paper trimmer, and that's going to work just fine as well. And now I'm going to pop out, I'm going to do palm trees on this one. I'm going to pop out some of my palm trees and put them onto my card front. Now I think, do these all go the same direction? That's funny. I would have liked one that goes the other. Oh, no, they all go the same direction. That's too bad. All right, I'm still going to use 3 of them, even though I would have really liked one that would just kind of, no, you know what? I'm not going to use 3. I'm going to use 2. And I'm going to put one kind of up and one kind of more slanty off to the side, just like that. And then our Warm Wishes there. And then in the background, I'm going to tie in that Lost Lagoon again by taking that little starry snowflake, and we're going to put some of those in the background. Now I'm going to do that before I attach anything. And I'm going to kind of go right there, twist this a bit, right there. Oops. Right there. Right there. And right there. So I really wanted a lot of Lost Lagoon to really tie our sentiment into the whole thing. All right, now that I'm happy with that general layout, I'm going to grab my dimensionals, pop one onto the back of each of my palm trees, and put them back in place. Okay. There we go. All right, now this layer we can pop up with dimensionals to put onto our card front. So I'm just going to I'm going to pretend like it's a rectangle, do the 4 corners, and then just like I did on our last rectangle, I'm going to put 2 across the center. All right. And actually, just because this one has the point, I'm going to do one at the top as well. I'm not going to bother with one at the bottom because our sentiment's going to be going down there, but I'll do one at the top. There we go. All right. And then for this one, I find the easiest way to line it up is look at the 2 edges and make sure they're straight. And then our Warm Wishes can go right on there. So to do this, I'm just going to move that, make sure I'm getting the spot where they'll be, and peel those up and stick this one down. There we go. I could have lowered the whole thing, I guess. In fact, I think I might. So I've shown this trick before, but I'm going to show you again. The easiest way is to put some scissors under here. There we go. Oops, oh darn it. I'll have to use a pen to fix that. Be careful not to snip your actual paper when you're doing this. So the easiest way to do this is to put scissors through and snip your dimensionals. And that loosens everything. And then these guys are actually super easy to remove. You just kind of use your finger. And it looks like my scissors really did a number on this paper. That's interesting. Scratched it all up. Most of that's going to get covered. And I'll show you a little trick for the stuff that doesn't. So I know that that one's not going to get covered back up. So I'm actually going to take a blending brush, some real red, because that's what color this is. And I am just very, very gently going to use a blending brush on there just to take away the starkness of that white. All right, so doesn't really change the whole card front. It just takes away that big white splotch. You could use like a blend or a felt pen as well, but you might see a more distinct difference as to where you applied the color. All right, so now these guys on the back, You can take those off, or you can just kind of put your dimensionals right beside them. It doesn't actually matter, because those are all just going to be hidden. And we're just going to do like that and like that. All right. So now I'm going to pay a bit more attention to putting this a bit lower so that we have that more evenly spaced on our card front. So I'm going to kind of think about, if I put that there and that there, that gives me a bit of a better border. There we go. And then my two new dimensionals here and here. Now these ones on the back of this I will peel off because they'll likely overlap where I put the new dimensionals. All right. So a little trick if you're using dimensionals and kind of make an oopsie is they really do come up quite easily. And there we go. I love how that is positioned. That's way better. All right. So that is our first alternative card. And there's like a little bit of sparkle on there and just really fun and pretty. Okay. And I will do one more alternative for you. Now I have not used this lovely green one yet, so we'll use this one for our last card. So again, I'm going to knock that down to 4 by 5 1/4 for both the original card and our alternative. And for this one, I am going to use a Granny Apple Green card base. So I'm just going to cut one up here. There we go. So we're going to put Granny Apple on Granny Apple, and that one's going to be all set to go. So, oh, and this one should also have a white inlay in it. That will just make it a little bit nicer. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do that. And, oh, sorry, I forgot to put my white inlay in there. So let's grab that. And even though the Granny Apple is really easy to see, like you could totally write on this with pen, I just like how it looks to have the white layer inside. All right. There we go. Okay, so we have a white layer inside our Granny Apple Green card, and that's how I would prep the original card as well, is just by doing that to get it all set up so that we're not reusing bits. Now for this one, we only get 5 extra little guys, so I don't know that we'll use too many. In fact, I might just use one. And then our sentiments. So I might just do a Merry Christmas for this one. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to clean it up. Now, if you had like a stamp set that had like Feliz Navidad or something, that'd be really cool to be able to grab that and use that. I do not, unfortunately. I have a lot of stamps, and that's actually one that I do not have. All right, so I could lay these back out, or I can just kind of try and squeeze this one onto the block until I'm happy with how it looks. So there we go. Merry Christmas. And I actually think for this one, I'm going to grab those same... Actually, am I going to use the Nested Essentials? Will that fit? Oh, it will. Excellent. All right. I am going to grab my same Nested Essentials, and I'm going to cut one of these out from a piece of basic white. So I'm just going to run that through my machine. All right, so we've got that piece, but now I want to add just a little element behind. And so what I'm actually going to do is take the second smallest of the like the little banner pieces. And you know how I said I love the envelopes, but it always, I always want to use the insides. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one of these envelopes. I'm going to open it up. Okay. Ooh, come on, open up. You can also just trim the edges to open these if you want. So I'm going to open that up, and let's see, do I have enough space here before the adhesive? You know what, I actually do. So I'm just going to trim this right here and trim off the adhesive as well. Okay. So I've just cut this off and I got most of the adhesive off. I am now going to run this die cut through so that I get those little banner pieces. And it's okay that I don't get the whole thing because part of this is going underneath here anyways. So I'm just going to cut where I can cut without getting adhesive in the way. And notice that I'm cutting so that the dots are going in the same direction as the dots on the background piece. So actually I can grab my mini and do that right here on screen. I don't have to walk away to go do this one. All right, so grab my plates, grab that, pop that piece of envelope on here, and roll that through. And so I'm actually going to cut 2 of those so that I can have one on each side. There we go. So I like this one because the pattern really helps me line up the die because it's got those horizontal lines, so I can use them as a guide. All right, so I'm going to save that for another project. And we're going to get these attached to our card front. So you can see here, we can just hide them so easily behind that and it doesn't even show. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a line. I'm just going to glue one of these down. So you can use glue, or I'm just going to use a little bit of Seal Plus here, just so I can be quick. And so I'm going to pop that down on my card front. And then I'm going to put some adhesive on this other one. And now you can just even grab a ruler if you want. And the lines on the page help you as well. And we're just going to pop that down. And that makes sure that it looks like we've now gone ahead and put a whole big strip of designer series paper in there when in fact we have not. All right. So now this piece we're going to do some stamping on before we put this down. So of course we're using our Lost Lagoon ink because that's what came in our little kit. I switched this out to Merry Christmas. And I'm going to stamp that there. And then I'm going to grab my little star again. At this point, you could also use, like if you've got some fun embellishments that you'd like, you could totally use those. And I'm just going to throw some stars on here. There we go. So Merry Christmas. And now we're going to attach our cactus and our label to our card front using dimensionals. So our cactus and just one at the bottom, one at the top. Pop this onto our card front. And then I'll flip this over and there we go. Last one. Okay, And then that can go centered right onto our card front. Well, that wasn't very centered. Well, you guys get to see me fix something again, because today I'm not having luck getting things lined up. My goodness. All right. What a waste of dimensionals. Yikes. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe I can line it up this time. I think I'm just a little bit tired. It has been an exhausting 2 weeks at work. Way too many late nights, coming home and doing work, getting up too early. Oops, almost put it on upside down. Okay, that looks way more centered. All right, and there is our second alternative using those really, really fun pieces. And then I just feel like I want to make one more kind of bonus card for you guys, because I haven't really utilized the trees in this set, and I wanted to show you how quick and easy we can. Oh no, are you kidding me? Well, I will fix that one off screen because you guys don't need to watch me pull dimensionals again. I put them on my card upside down. Oh my goodness. It's time for a second coffee. Oh boy. All right. Well, one more quick card before we go. And this one truly is the quickest of all quick cards, except for a lot of cleaning. Now, I've got a basic white card base here. We could totally use a color if we wanted. But I'm not going to. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use a second piece of basic white. Oh, yeah. Come on. Let go. There we go. I'm going to use a second piece of basic white. So we have a layer, and also if we mess up, we're not throwing out a whole card base. We're only throwing out a layer or flipping it over and using other bits of it and stuff, because, yeah, I don't want to have to worry about all that. So actually, I'm not even going to keep the card base under it while I do this. I'm going to grab this tree. It's my favorite tree in this stamp set. I just think it is so cool looking. We're going to grab a little block for him. There we go. And I'm going to pull in a few new ink colors. We're not going to stick to the Lost Lagoon. I am such a huge fan of rainbows at Christmas time. I'm not really sure why. So I'm going to grab some Sweet Sorbet. Actually, am I going to do Sweet Sorbet or am I going to do Melon Mambo? I might stick with Melon Mambo, actually. I'm going to do Melon Mambo. Flirty Flamingo is my orange. Oh, where's my Lemon Lolly? Lemon Lolly. Oh, Melon Mambo might be too bright now. We'll have to wait and see. All right, Lemon Lolly. We need a green, bluish green. How about we do Coastal Cabana as our bluish green, and then some Fresh Freesia as our pink, and then I think Melon Mambo is going to be too dark for this, so we're going to swap that out for perhaps a little bit of Bubble Bath. That might be too light, not red enough. Uh-oh. Now what color am I going to use? Maybe I'll actually just add in. Let's actually swap that out and make it a blue and a green in there. And then we'll be good to go. So we'll put yellow, blue, green. And now we have this really kind of pastel-y rainbow that we're going to use to create our Christmas card. I'm going to start with Balmy Blue as my first color. So I want this kind of lined up. I'm going to stamp a Balmy Blue tree in what I believe is the center of our card. All right. Now, with that little guy stamped, I am going to clean my image. So I have no more ink on there. And I'm going to grab my Lemon Lolly. I hope that's going to be dark enough. Oh yeah, that'll... Well, we'll see. We can always flip it over if it's not. And I'm actually going to use the corner of the tree to line up that next tree. Yeah, I don't know if that actually is going to be dark enough. Okay, we'll see what it looks like once we get the other colors on. We may have to do a little restamp. Okay, there we go. We've got our flirty flamingo. And now we'll work our trees the other way. So I've got some lemon lime twist here. And again, just using the corner to help line that up. Clean this one more time. And some fresh freesia. There we go. All right. Yeah, definitely that yellow's not working. So no lemon lolly. Instead, I wonder, Calypso Coral might be too dark. Pumpkin Pie might be too bright. Let's try a Calypso Coral just off to the side. Oops. Let's clean that first. Okay, we're going to try this just off to the side. I think it's too dark. Oh no. I wonder what other yellow I could use. Maybe Daffodil Delight's still going to be pretty light though. Okay, we're going to try a Daffodil Delight. We're going to see how well I can actually line this up over top. And see if I can fix this without ruining it. All right, so we're going to take Daffodil Delight instead of Lemon Lolly. We're going to do our best to line up yellow over yellow. And that is way better. So Daffodil Delight's a lot darker and just complements it a bit better. So we'll use Daffodil Delight instead. So now that we have what I've realized is actually a fairly crooked string of trees, we are going to grab, why not stick with our Lost Lagoon. Oh my goodness. This is why I should put my inks back where they belong and not stack them up. All right. Will my Lost Lagoon work there? No. I am going to grab my lemon lime twist. Yeah. I think we're going to go Flirty Flamingo. We're going to keep this card light and bright. And I'm going to take my Merry Christmas, but I'm going to, oh my goodness. I'm going to actually clean this and move them so that they're actually in a straight line. So Merry and Christmas with a little space between the two. Oh, darn it. Put them so you can read them, Leah. There we go. Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to pick them up with my block. And I'm going to stamp them in a nice straight line underneath. There we go. And now I can come back in, add a few little snowflakes around this. Where'd my little snowflake go? We're going to clean that though, because I'm going to add my little snowflakes in Balmy Blue instead of in Lost Lagoon. And so just tap the little corner. And just a few little snowflakes here to pull the whole card together. And then with that done, this whole piece can get added onto our card front, and I'm actually going to attach that with dimensionals. And then I'm going to do one final thing, because this is a product that is an online exclusive, and I so wish that they had put them in our catalog. I feel like people don't know about them, and they're really one of our best embellishments this season. So here we go. I'm going to peel those off. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So this is a very non-traditional card. You could totally do this with greens and a red Merry Christmas and like not even switch up the colors or anything. Oops. I'm just throwing things around my room today. All right, so these are the adhesive back snowflake assortment. And I feel like they're just like so underrated. It's 3 different sizes of snowflakes. And I'm actually going to add a couple of these to our card, just white on white. There we go. And one up there. And one more down here. And it just kind of rounds out the little embellishments on our card. And they're just so pretty. So that is my finished 3rd option there. And then, of course, I can quickly show you guys what that might look like if we just kept to some traditional colors. So let's clean this up. So let's see, they used real red and granny apple green. I might actually use a different green. So some real red for our Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas in real red. And then I'm going to clean up my tree. And let's keep this super traditional. Let's use some shaded spruce. It's my favorite Christmas green. And we're just going to go. Oh, come on. Link up. Oh, yeah. There we go. So tree. And we might not even want to do 5 for this one. We might just want to stick to 3. There we go. 3 little Christmas trees, and you have the quickest little card done. And then we can throw some embellishments around that or tie a piece of ribbon around it. And voila, we are finished. So let's actually grab, where'd our little star go? There it is. We'll grab our little star. Actually, I'm not even going to use stars. I'm going to use my snowflakes. I love these. And we could even do a little bit of gold on this one, just to really make it traditional in colors. So here we go. There, just like that. And then this one, we could even go ahead and instead of on a white background, we could pop that onto a nice shaded spruce background. Let's actually, no, that's Pretty Peacock. So here we go. 4 1/4. And, oh, that's beautiful. Pop that onto a shaded spruce background and voila, we have another card. So I'm just going to bring in all my alternatives because I think the kit does a really nice job of showing you the kit cards, but I'm going to bring in all my alternative cards here and just show you what we could end up with. So just like that. And we have this little guy as well. So there's all of our alternative cards. And of course, the possibilities are endless with this kit. It is just the sweetest little kit. I love the simple stamp set. And oh, that one's covered up by, there we go, a little bit better view there. My backwards card. There we go, a little bit of a better view of those cards. So those are just some of the alternatives that we can create with this super sweet little kit. And yeah, it's a great activity as well. If you wanted to do like some stamping with the grandkids, the cards are easy to follow, easy to work on, and then so many possibilities. And then of course, like all the cute little tags and everything that you could create with this sweet stamp set. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. This week, I do not have a card class to go kind of kit to mail out, but I do have the 9-card PDF from my Mini Catalogue Launch that will be my little thank you gift to anybody who places an order using my host code. And I will see you guys again next Wednesday. If I have some designing time, I'll be featuring the Berry Cute stamp set, and if not, then I've got one more Christmas card kit that I would love to share with you. All right, take care, everyone. See you later.